I think what a lot of people would like to know, and especially I would like to know, is I kind of teased you with the sneak peek thing, but now I think people really want to know like what you're thinking, like what we want to do and what we're going to be a part of, what the guests can expect to experience coming out of the retreat.
So I've had a lot of, you can say, downloads about it of what is coming. It's not exact, always with these things. Once I get there, I feel the energy of the people and the space and everything. Things can shift and change a little bit,
Absolutely.
but not too much out of what the program is going to be. But I put it on a post that it's about transformation, shifting, alignment, and activating life. And to me, those are areas that are involved in us seeing sort of all these personas, personalities, characters that we're so used to and carrying them on a daily basis. And a lot of them we're not even realizing. So, my goal for everybody that attends is to start seeing them a little bit more clearly, become aware of them, release and let go as much as we can these identities, because they're all based in fear anyway. And then from that space, then how can I now align with my higher self, my divine self, and how can I live as someone that's aligned? How do I live? Go, because that's another fear that a lot of people have, as soon as you mention living in your higher self, divinity, God self, whatever you want to call it, open heart. That's one of my favorite. Living is an open heart out there. A lot of people become scared. It's like, well, what does our life look like? I don't know. I kind of like these personalities. Does that mean I'm not
Not
going to
used to them.
work? Or, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they've served a purpose, right?
Yeah. So, and to show them, well, what does that mean? What does that activated life look like once you start becoming aware and seeing these things?
Yeah, absolutely. And really, like, I imagine like anchoring that in so that if they like have the temptation to kind of go back to old patterns, old masks, that they have some kind of tool or something that they can re-anchor back into that vision that they created for themselves with you.
Oh yeah, no, definitely they'll walk away with programs, tools, exercises, homeworks that they can come back to. And I always say, I'm always here,
Yeah.
text me, let me know if you hit a snag and I'll help you out of that snag. But yeah, that's the intention, to give them enough tools. Because yeah, obviously we're not going to do everything, because 2 of those days is workshop days, and then 2 of those days we're doing excursions.
Fun experience.
So yeah, so yeah, we're gonna have to give them some things that they can take home with and use at home.
Yeah. But I can imagine the beauty that the guests are going to experience of being in this lush jungle, with you and all the positive energy and just really being able to just like unfold and release and then embody that new self. Like that just seems like the perfect environment for that.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the other reasons I was excited that Carlene, if I've already seen the post, Carlene decided to show up and give us a special discount for the guests. Sorry, is that what better way that when you're shedding these identities and you're truly standing there, in your true self and having that captured. So with her solography or embodiment photos, whichever one you choose, I think that's going to be a beautiful addition as a gift to yourself, to see yourself more purely, more of who you really are. What sort of like if you were mirror in front of a mirror, what does your true self look like?
Mm,
And she can capture that for you.
that's powerful. Your journey on the shaman's path. We talked about it a little bit last time about how you were introduced to it, but I'd like to know maybe a little bit more about kind of your own transformation and how you really like knew that this was your path and what you've taken from what you've learned on your own personal journey to be able to assist and help other people.
Uh, a great deal. And I'm happy to say it's like, it's always, I see the shifts happening even more. And to be quite honest, I'm shifting out of even what a shaman is, if because I noticed that was another sort of a character that was building, because in, you know, the training is great, and like I've mentioned, even before getting trained, there was a lot of those tools and things I was already doing. You know, I was always connected to nature, I was always talking to trees and birds and everything, and using them. So a lot of those tools I had already, and I learned a lot more from my mentor. And even before all of this, going back to when I started, my goal was always to live as my higher self and to live like that open heart. And I always truly believed, that's why I couldn't follow a lot of the teachings, was that because everything still was outside of you. That's why religion never stuck with me. God, yes, but religion, no, because again, they teach you everything is outside.
Mhm.
And with shamanism too, you're sort of like, there's this thing that the spirits are guiding me. It's like, again, that outside influence that, well, you know, if I'm God, if I'm divine, and this world that I'm living, not the earth, not the planet, but this world that I'm living is my projection, is a projection of me, is mirroring back at me, and I'm mirroring back at it, then everything is me. Then all those spirits that I'm going to talk to is me. It's part of me. It's not outside of me. And that's where that shift has happened now, is that I feel even that sort of like identity has released now, and I'm more just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is, it's not that, and that's part of that activating life, because then again, people get scared, especially, you know, people that are used to using the tarot, the spirits, all those things as a guiding tool for them. Is, well, what do you mean? What is my life going to look like now? Your life's going to be perfect, because the goal was always, you trust you.
Yeah. And you
Power
create
is
what you
in
want.
you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. I
Yeah.
know we're going to learn this, and your guests are going to come away with this, but if you could give us another sneak peek of just one thing that you could say right now that you could have help somebody like really trust and know, and like really anchor in that they are the creator of their own realities.
Awareness. Awareness is the biggest tool you have, because that shows you sort of like, call it an illusion of life. Because if you think about just the body, and I talk about that somewhat in the book, Change Yourself, Change the World, is that this magnificent body, I am not telling it to do anything. I'm here, I'm in this body, but it's breathing on its own, the heartbeat, blood, all of it is happening on its own. Even if you imagine, if you're going to get up and walk, and you're not going to say, hey, body, come on, we're going to walk, move your hand and feet, and we're going to go. No, it's a natural thing. And you're just aware of the movement, you're aware of the breath, you're aware of the heartbeat. And so when you ask, who is aware of all these things? It's not a character. It's not like, I can't pinpoint it to an energy, but there's this big sort of space that is not attached to thoughts. It's not attached to emotions. It's not attached to doing or even being. It just is.
Mhm.
And that's that sort of universal force that is in all of us, and we're connected. That's the oneness. That's the oneness between the planet. Everything is connected. And that's that space. When you connect to that space, you're like, yeah, you know, this character, you know, this body can go have coffee, this body can go for a run. That's fine, that's part of the body, and I'm just aware of it doing these little different things. Now, when we let go of those identities, it becomes easier and easier to be stable in this awareness and just see it.
Wow. when you think about in those terms, like it's like the miracle of life. Like how miraculous is it that this does its own thing, and in our emotional bodies has its own operating system. And yeah, we don't have to ask our body to do anything. It's funny that you bring that up even because was on that train yesterday thinking about a lot of different things is like, that spark of life, like, like from conception all the way to like who we are now, like that just happened on its own. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have to have conscious control over that. And when I think that people like kind of take that for granted, I mean, I myself have, but we take it for granted that we don't have to do this. So we don't think that we have any control over our lives. But when we really start to step into what you're teaching is like, we do have control. And that's with our consciousness and our mind to take with what we've been given to create and co-create with the universal source, everything that we want in the world, and not just want, but just like what our soul is really here to do.
Exactly, exactly. And that's the thing that we get bogged down, that power and control that we're talking about. If we're constantly looking for an outside source to tell you if you're right, if you're on the right path, if you're doing this, then what's the point? You're still giving your power away.
Yeah.
And that's what it's not you can, just like we're having a communication, but when you feel those guides, they're in you, they're in your heart, they're part of you. And
Mhm.
yes, you can communicate, but it's not like everything I want to do. Hey, can you tell me if I should go right or left? Can you tell whatever you tell me? Should I eat this? Should I wear this? Should I take this job? Then where is you and them?
Yeah. It's so true. I heard that
So
said recently that like we are here to experience ourselves as consciousness, as a spark of the divine. Like this is all just like a loop of experience and loop of love for us to just experience, you know?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
When those things
Yeah,
come up, that's a really good reminder to remind us that it is us that we are experiencing when those things, synchronicities come up, signs and all those things, and spirits and all that, and guidance, absolutely. But it's like you're right, it is our guidance that's leading the
yeah,
way. Our higher.
yeah. I talk about that actually in the book a little bit too. And again, change yourself, change the world, where I say, sort of imagine you had this plan, and then you say, okay, I'm going to forget. And then I'm going to set reminders for myself, though, all over the place. That's going to remind me of who I am and where to go and how to get to that end result that I came here for. So then you remember, it's like, yeah, I remember what's going on. And then slowly you forgot. And then that forgetting is like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, this sign, this. So all those things that we're calling numbers is you left it for yourself as a reminder. Hey, this is the right path. Remember, you wanted me
Yeah.
to remind you at this time and this day that this is, you need to step this way.
Wow.
And, that's all it is.
Yeah. I remember reading that, and the way you say it now is just like I just got full chills down my left side. Yeah. No, it's such a good reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well,
Simple life.
right. True. Yeah, absolutely. Simple and profound.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have some good news to share with our guests that we have been approved as the retreat company to offer a firm, which is a type of financing. So if anybody has been called to be here, be a part of this retreat, and maybe they wanted to pay it over longer installments, we do want to share that we have been accepted for that. So if anyone's still on the fence, we have 2 more spots left. We have a little bit of a deadline coming up on the 23rd. And then we can take, 1 or 2 more guests up until about 3 weeks ahead of time. So if it's been interesting you, be sure to grab your spot. But anything else that you want to leave listeners with today?
No, that was really an important thing. I'm so glad that you've done that for us. I mean, that's an amazing thing for people, because I know that was a concern for some people, and hopefully now that they can pay over time, that's great. And for everybody out there, I just wanted you guys to know. So I'm talking here, I'm going to show up for this retreat, but this lady that you see on the other side of my screen, she is all of the behind the scene is happening with her. She's all doing all that, talking to the hotel, making deals, making things happen, making sure everybody's getting there on time, their flight. So she's doing a lot of behind the scenes that it's like, oh, this is so easy. We're just gonna show up and be there.
That's why
But
this is
yes,
good. Yeah. It's beautiful. Thank you.
thank you. No,
Yeah.
thank you. Really, it's a lot of work, and I'm so grateful for all the energy you put into this.
You've been such a pleasure to work with. Like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, just everything that you bring to this and have like just the energy that you have brought to this. Like, you've been so like easy to work with, pleasurable. Like, it's just like just that heart connection that we had that from that first conversation.
Yeah,
It's really kind of carried the whole thing through. So thank you too.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you for talking today. Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.